You're watching Solar Impulse TV. Hello. If you're watching in India, as I'm sure many of you are, it is 6 p.m. Here in Monaco, it's a little earlier in the afternoon, and we're dealing with Greenwich Mean Time, which we also call UTC. We're going to be dealing with Mandalay time as well, because the next flights that we're looking at are yet another pit stop, because we're masochists here. We like to do flights back to back. It's just the way we are. And we'll be flying from Ahmedabad, where the plane is now, through to Mandalay in Myanmar, and stopping off in a little pit stop in Varanasi. It's all going to be a bit complicated again with the time zones. For us here in Monaco, it's going to be at midnight. In GMT, it's the day before. It's all very, very confusing, but we're going to get there. God knows what's going to happen by the time we get to the Pacific, but we'll cross that one when we come to it. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a few things today for this pre-flight show. We'll be looking back at what's happened over the first two flights from Abu Dhabi onwards, and also giving you a sneak preview of what's going to happen from now until Mandalay. So we have two flights under our belt already. That was thanks to the pit stop. We managed to get two of those 12 legs underway. Abu Dhabi to Amman was the first one, and that was with André Borschberg, the pilot. He took off at 12 minutes past 3 UTC and landed in Muscat, Oman at 13 minutes past 4 UTC for a 13-hour flight. Just a little flea hop for us here in Solar Impulse. The next flight from Amman to Ahmedabad was piloted by Bertrand Piccard. That was his first flight of this round-the-world flight attempt. And for him, it was a little bit longer, around about 15 hours. And it was a record-breaking flight because this is the first time, first of all, that a solar-powered airplane has been in Asia, not only just India, but for the whole of Asia. And also, it was a world record in terms of distance travelled by a solar-powered airplane. Although that does need to be certified by the authorities, we are very confident that will be a world record. And there'll be many more records to come throughout this round-the-world flight attempt. So now, let's take a quick look at what happened. We've got some lovely images to show you now of what happened between Abu Dhabi and Ahmedabad.
André has worked on this airplane with a technical team for 12 years. And I think it's more than normal that he makes the first leg.
Great flight, we have great sunlight.
Ahmedabad, hein?
There's some of our best images from the first two flights from Abu Dhabi to Ahmedabad, the first two legs of this groundbreaking, this record-breaking round-the-world flight attempt with solar impulse. And it's been extremely popular so far in India. It's been incredible, the amount of coverage we've been getting in India. But not just India. From the very beginning, we've been getting loads and loads of press coverage from all around the world, and we've compiled a few examples which we can see here. Okay, let's take a look and see the first one. This is Le Nouvelliste. This is one of the biggest newspapers in Europe. Well, more or less. It's in the mountains in Switzerland, and a little hazy picture there of solar impulse. Then we can stick with the French-speaking newspapers and magazines. We've got Paris Match. Paris Match did a huge amount of coverage for us there. We've got some lovely pictures there. You can see some of them here. Look at that. Lovely orange suits they're wearing there. And Paris Match has been giving us, like I said, lots of coverage in their magazines recently. Moving on to the English-speaking newspapers, we've got the Daily Mail. Daily Mail has used a video there, which I can promise is much better on solarimpulse.com. They've compressed the hell out of that one. But thanks anyway to the Daily Mail for that coverage. And as I was saying, the Indian papers have been extremely generous in their coverage. The Times of India has been covering us pretty much every day since we've been in Ahmedabad. And there you can see there, go back a little bit there. If we can back up to the Times of India again. We've gone a bit too fast there. Can we go backwards? Okay, maybe not. But anyway, you saw that very briefly. If you didn't blink, you'll have seen the Times of India. And they've been, as I said, covering us every single day. We've been on the front pages of the Times of India. And there's even lots of coverage of the kind of food our team are eating. So that's the Times of India and many of the other major Indian publications. The BBC as well. The BBC have been covering us. We've been on radio, on TV, and of course on the internet, on the BBC website. Wired magazine is a publication which is very keen on what Solar Impulse is doing. I remember when we were in the US 2 years ago that we had lots of coverage in Wired. That's the UK version of Wired. But I'm sure that once we get back to America, we'll have much more on the American version of Wired. I think we can see a video on the Guardian website. Let's take a look. And if you're wondering why it's so fantastic, that's because it's our team who took those pictures. A little video of the ground crew around the plane. And that is on the Guardian website. You can still see it on the Guardian website. And let's head over to India. More coverage. That's from Z News, another really big outlet in India. And just to give you an example of the kind of content we've been getting. Now, obviously, after we get to Mandalay, we'll be heading over to China. And the Chinese publications have already been giving us lots of coverage. We know that we're going to be in for a big surprise when we get to China by just how many people are very excited about Solar Impulse. Even before the round-the-world flight attempt began, we were welcoming many Chinese journalists here in Monaco, and it's going to hot up, I'm sure, once we leave Mandalay to get to Chongqing. I can also see one of the German papers, the economic newspaper Handelsblatt. Let's see that. I won't try and pronounce that because one of the very cruel people in the back room laughed at me when I tried to pronounce that. It's doing no good for my confidence whatsoever. We can also see the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, lovely pictures there. Thanks to us. Look, Wall Street Journal live. And finally, we can see CNN. CNN who decided to, well, why not? CNN, if we can see that now. Let's carry on to CNN. No, we're watching. Oh, there we go. Right. Style at the top as well. Look, they've done this lovely little slideshow there with all kinds of things, not just the plane, but look, we've got pictures of the pilots. That's Auguste Piccard, Jacques Piccard and his son Bertrand when Bertrand was very young. Well, why not? They're just giving you the whole background to Solar Impulse and not just what's going on here. Yeah, good for them. Thank you very much. And there'll be much more of that to come. And you can follow much of it on our website, solarimpulse.com. A little bit later on in today's show, we will be looking at some of the content that you've been sending in, some of the photos, the texts, the tweets that we've been getting. And the team here have compiled some of the best of that information, so we'll see that a little later. Let's look ahead now to the next leg. We've done one pit stop already. Now we've got our second pit stop to come. And the second pit stop will be from Ahmedabad in India, in the state of Gujarat, heading to Uttar Pradesh, Varanasi, on the banks of the Ganges, and from there to Mandalay in Myanmar, made famous by Rudyard Kipling, of course. And we're going to find out a bit about that in a second. Before that, I've had a bit of a problem pronouncing the names of the airports, so we asked our friend Sujata Henry to help, and we can also take a little sneak preview of what we can expect. Sujata, help me out, please.
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad. Lal Bahadur Shastri Airport in Varanasi. Namaste.
Namaste to you too, Sujata. Thank you very much. So some sneak preview pictures of Varanasi, and you saw some images there of Ahmedabad, where the plane is right now. We'll be taking off in, just a few hours' time now. It's coming around very, very shortly. The next pit stop from Ahmedabad to Mandalay via Varanasi. A few stats for you. We're looking at a flight of around 15 hours now from Ahmedabad to Varanasi. This will be our third round-the-world flight. Just over 1,000 kilometers to fly. And André Borschberg will be the pilot. And appropriately, André likes to use yoga to relax, yoga being a practice that originated in India over 5,000 years ago. Then Bertrand Piccard will take up the reins for Varanasi to Mandalay. And this will be our fourth flight, heading into the Republic of the Union of Myanmar. And this is almost 1,500 kilometers for what we expect to be a 20-hour flight, a little more complicated than the first flight. We're going to be flying south of the Himalayas, and there are some jet stream complications, but I'm not an expert. Luckily, we can speak to someone who can. We asked Christophe Bezot in our flight strategy team to tell us about what we can expect from now until Mandalay. Let's hear what Christophe has to say.
Myself and my colleague Eleonora are working on leg 3 and leg 4. Leg 3 is between Ahmedabad and Varanasi, and leg 4 between Varanasi and Mandalay. What is difficult for those two legs is that in between we have a pit stop, so very, very short time to wait. One of the critical points is the battery state of charge we will have at the arrival at Varanasi, because a couple of hours afterwards we will have to take off with the same amount of state of charge for the leg 4 to Mandalay. Geography is a bit challenging for those two legs, because in India it may be quite foggy. Especially in Varanasi, we can expect to have foggy mornings, which could be a problem for an early takeoff. And for leg 4, of course, we will cross the Bay of Bengal. This may be challenging because we have often at high altitude an important crosswind, and on the other hand, due to ATC restrictions, we have to keep the track. We know that we will have to adjust carefully the flight profile so as to avoid this problem. Approximately 2 hours before arriving in Mandalay, we will have to cross quite high mountains, up to 10,000 feet approximately. And this may be challenging because we will arrive at the end of the day. We expect to cross those mountains just before dusk, and so to optimize the flight profile and have a slow mission descent towards Mandalay. Working on a pit stop is difficult because we really have to synchronize our work so as to be sure that the possible good solution that we find for the first leg is also a good solution for the second one, and vice versa.
Christophe Bezot from our flight strategy team just talking about some of the particular challenges and particularities that this pit stop represents for us, from Ahmedabad in Gujarat in India to Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh in the northeast of India, heading over to Mandalay in Myanmar. So that's the next pit stop coming up, and it's coming around very shortly, very early morning for us here in Monaco, and it's going to be also around 6 a.m. But we'll get the more precise predictions for you a little later today. This is changing all the time. There's actually a briefing going on right now. That's why you can't see many people behind me, because they're all in a room next door, all discussing exactly what's going to be happening for the next flight. So we'll have a little more information later on, and that will of course be disseminated via all of the social networks that Solar Impulse is involved in, and we'll find out a bit more about that in a second. But before then, I think it'd be nice to take you behind the scenes, just to give you an idea, if you're not in India, of how popular Solar Impulse has been. It's been extraordinary. Thousands and thousands of people literally have been queuing up to get in to see the plane. Let's recap now on the atmosphere and the excitement of Solar Impulse in Ahmedabad.
It was in news from many days, and I have an office today, so I just wake up early so that I can view this beautiful plane. It's very nice.
And when it landed in Ahmedabad, my first impulse was to see this plane.
I got the chance to see this plane, and now it's really amazing, finally, and thank you for giving us this chance. Really, thank you.
It's a fantastic scene, and really is a marvelous invention, and hopefully the future, definitely it is going to be success.
We don't missing this kind of the charm in our life, because it's the first time in our life that we're seeing this kind of solar plane in India.
Good morning, Ahmedabad. You know, the most important thing for us, for Andre and myself, is this badge here. You see, we could put India on our sleeve. We are finally on our way around the world. We've been working on that together.
Look, I've got one as well. See, we've all got them. I'll be wearing them tomorrow as well, because the next flight will still be in India, Ahmedabad to Varanasi. Now, we won't be staying very long in Varanasi. If you're in Uttar Pradesh, then maybe you can try and catch us for the landing or for the takeoff as well. But anyway, for all the timings, just keep checking in our website, solarimpulse.com. We will have the latest information as soon as we get it. You will be the first to know via solarimpulse.com. Now, we have been exploding on the social networks. We've been on all of the major ones. People have been sending in loads of photos. We've had videos as well. And our team has been beavering away with the plane. And let's take a look at some of the best that we've got from our social media team now. For the flight, which is always a huge job. There's a huge amount of material to get ready. In fact, there have to be 2 planes full of people and equipment to take off as well. And we've even got an advanced team already in Myanmar and Varanasi. So we're really spread out at the moment. And look at that crowd. Just give an example of how popular we've been in India. And thank you very much to everyone who's come out to see us. Time to relax, well, not much time. I think they've probably got about half an hour over the last week or so, but there you go, they still look happy. Or maybe they're just hysteric with tiredness. Conway Borschberg taking a bit of time out before preparing for the next flight, which is coming around very soon. And of course, everyone has to be extremely well prepared. And now we can have a look at some of the photos we've received from fans of Solar Impulse, and so then we've got some publications as well, sending in scientific information. Yeah, a bit of Ricola, why not? Because it is a Swiss project after all. That's the size of the plane that we can see. A larger wingspan than a 747, and thanks to Google for that. Google have been extremely helpful to us, making sure that we get as much promotion as we need. And selfie time now, lots of selfies with members of the team. There's Laurent, we saw Danielle just there a second ago. They're all famous now in India. And some people got the pilots as well. A selfie with the plane, why not? A few people have some selfie sticks here. And we want more of these. If you are with the plane, if you get to visit the plane, and do take a selfie and send it to us, we'd love to see it. There you go. Some people need to smile a bit more, I think. Someone lost the bottom of his head. And it's with Marie from our team. Mr. Cool. Serious kids. There you go. So keep them coming. And Vincent Colgrave is from our social media team. Hello, Vincent.
Hello, Connor.
And yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, the amount of stuff you've been getting through. Stuff, it's not just stuff, is it? It's photos, it's videos, it's text. What else have you been getting?
We've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of people who are reacting to what is happening, and people are really, it's great because we've been working like to prepare this around the world since a long time, and now we're happy to see that it's getting now, and that we have a lot of comments. There are a lot of things are happening directly on social media, on the website. Also, people are asking questions on the chat and so on. So this is really great to see the engagement that we are getting.
It's a brand new website as well. And what's new?
On the website, what's new that you have like really a virtual cockpit. People can see really what's happening here on the mission control center with the data coming from the airplane, the exact position of the plane, also all an engagement side where people can really ask questions and we are answering. We are trying to provide as much information as possible to our audience.
And live coverage, well, we have our shows, we have live Solar Impulse TV shows for takeoff and landing, but there are other things you can see in between the shows. So you can stick on Solar Impulse outside of the shows, because what can you see in terms of video?
In terms of videos, what we can get is like really all the coverage of what is happening with the takeoff landings and so on. We're creating some content on the ground really to try to show the behind the scene access to people with Vines, with a lot of different videos that all our team is preparing.
And there's the option as well to send a message to the pilot whilst he's flying.
Exactly. By using on Twitter is easy, on Facebook also, just at Bertrand Piccard or at Andre Borschberg, and then you can send the questions, and while they are flying, they answer. So this is what is really great on that side.
Okay, and they can do that live as well. That's real time. They can send a message and the pilots respond. Have they been responding much, or I guess they're pretty busy up there?
They're pretty busy, but sometimes we receive selfies and some pictures from the sky that they're taking, so they have time to answer, and they love it. We know it because we've been discussing about it with them.
Okay, and we've got another flight coming up very shortly, another pit stop as well. What kind of things do you want people to do? Because I know you like to encourage people to send certain things, certain images. What do you want from them this time?
Well, you know that we are also running the movement Future is Clean, using the hashtag Future is Clean with the website futureisclean.org, because we want really to create a global movement. So there is like 3 kinds of things that people can do. If they are in Ahmedabad, the key thing is to wake up and have a look at the takeoff, take pictures, send us those pictures using hashtag FutureIsClean or hashtag Solar Impulse. This will be the good way for us to see them. Same thing in Varanasi. If people are there to watch the landing, this is really great because we want to get as much pictures as possible, and we know that a lot of people are going to be there. And the last part is that if you are around the world, if you are like somewhere else in China, in the USA or anywhere, like just shout something, shout Future is Clean, or send us a selfie, send us something like a voice or a message, because we need really to have like Future is Clean. We need to see what is going on and how you react to this round the world flight.
Like this, yeah? You want to do that? I didn't do the hashtag, hang on.
This is like...
Wait a minute, there, like that.
Exactly, but this is, if you are shy, you can do this. But if you want to shout, we want people to shout. We want to get like voices of people. This is really important for us.
You do it now.
Future is Clean!
There you go, like that. Future is Clean! Like that, okay? Or maybe better. I think you can probably do better than that. So send it to Vincent via
Via Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram,
Seriously,
on
it's
Reddit,
not hard to find us. We're everywhere. Solar Impulse, wherever you are in the world, do that. And we're not staying very long in Varanasi, unfortunately. So we would like to see you if you are in Varanasi, either for the landing or for the takeoff as we head off to Mandalay. Not much time, I know, but it's a beautiful place. And hopefully we'll get some nice shots from your team. I know there's a team in Varanasi already. There's an advanced team in Mandalay. I know you're already working on sending back lots of nice images.
Exactly. Bruno's in Varanasi, Marie in Ahmedabad, so we are trying to cover as much as possible and really show what's happening there.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks a lot, Vincent, and thanks to you for watching. We'll be back very shortly because there's a flight coming around already. We're all prepared and waiting for it. It's going to be another early start for that, but that's just part of the Solar Impulse adventure. Another pit stop as well, so no sleep till when, Vincent? No sleep till Friday, if we're lucky. Okay, see you soon on Solar Impulse TV here on solarimpulse.com.